have you ever looked back on your life and thought, wow, I've made some pretty dumb choices in my time? I know I have. But bad choices make good stories, right? And boy, have I got some good stories. Now, I could stand here as a life coach and say to you, but these lessons have taught me valuable lessons and made me the person that I am today. And that's very true. But they were still pretty dumb choices. Me, My Stress, and I is about the stress that we put on ourselves on a daily basis. If there's one thing that these experiences have taught me, and I do believe that we're the sum of our experiences, is that cliche quote, to trust your gut. And if I can teach anything to my beautiful daughter, it would be to believe, love, and trust in herself. And to make choices for her. Choices that sit true to her core values and beliefs. Not choices to gain popularity. Or choices that are adding to her everyday stress. So what is stress? Stress is actually not all bad. It's the body's natural response to threat. So it's actually vital for our survival. When the brain detects threat, it sends a signal to the adrenal glands, releasing cortisol and adrenaline, the stress hormones. It's called the fight or flight response. Now, adrenaline gives us that alert, aware, I'm ready feeling. It increases the heart rate, raises the blood pressure, whereas cortisol releases glucose into the bloodstream to refuel from that stressful situation. A perfect example of this is our cavemen ancestors. They would fight big animals to survive, either to fight to eat off them, to feed off them, or to survive, or they would run away, fight or flight. That was very short-lived, that extreme stress, thankfully, and it was infrequent. They'd have plenty of time to go back into their cave, to relax, to allow those stress hormones to reduce, maybe have a sleep, make love to their partner, collect berries from the tree, and water from the river. Plenty of time to recover. Nowadays, our stress is very different. Luckily, we don't have to fight big animals to survive, thank goodness. But the stress response is exactly the same as if we were fighting for our lives, as it is with everyday stresses that we experience daily. Basic things, things we take for granted, things that we feel are now normal. Getting up to an alarm, rushing to get the kids ready for school, getting stuck in traffic on the way to work and being late, all of which are added stressors. The response is exactly the same hormonally. And how often do we really take time to stop and to recover from that? For many of us, not much at all. Now, I totally believe that for our ancestors, obviously life was a little bit easier back then, or was it? That stress was extreme. But so is our stress on an everyday basis. Over the past 15 years, as a coach and from my own personal experience, I've come to realize that we very often cause a lot of our own stress. Me, my stress, and I. I'm sure you can all relate to making a bad choice, knowing it's a bad choice, but doing it anyway. Am I right? Yeah? I've done it a few times, believe me. But we do it anyway. And life isn't perfect. We have to make these choices on a daily basis. I look back at maybe the first poor boyfriend choice. Don't judge me. I know I'm not the only one, okay? That group of friends that completely pulled you off the rails, you know, the cool kids, the ones that you wore a mask to fit in with, completely hiding your true identity just in case of rejection. Yet you did it anyway. You spend the weekend partying. I did. You're awake a lot, zero sleep, way too much alcohol. Then you spend the weekdays drinking energy drinks and eating junk food just to survive. It's hard. Then as we get older, our responsibilities change. You may become a parent. You may decide to own a business. Or you may be stuck in the 9-to-5 grind of a job that you absolutely hate. Sitting in an office behind a desk, full of negativity, snacking off the donuts that Mary brings in just to please you all. Gets you through the day. We've all been there, yeah? But life does change, and our priorities do change. Becoming a parent for me was the happiest time in my life, but it was also the most stressful time. I was an older mum. The imposter syndrome was huge, believe me. I would look on social media at everybody doing this job so perfectly, when inside I was falling apart. And it's difficult. You compare. You wonder why they're doing it better than you. And you push yourself to take them to every class, every event, buy them all of the toys that you think they should have, when in all honesty, you're adding stress to them too. And simplicity and calm would benefit them more. Now, things that we feel are stress reducing for us, many people are very unaware of adding more and more stress to an already overloaded system. We go home from that terrible day in that job, we drink a bottle of wine, as a reward, of course, and we order a takeaway because we haven't got time to prepare a healthy meal and certainly haven't got the motivation. We then spend hours scrolling on social media or binge-watching movies, all of the while keeping the brain fired and preventing you from having one of the best stress management and hormone balancing processes we can possibly have: sleep. Sleep. You have poor sleep. You're waking up in the morning then with elevated cortisol, which is leaving you with low mood. You're craving sugar all day long, and you have zero energy. And it's a repeat of yesterday. Yeah? Now, I'm not standing here saying that we have to be perfect. Our food has to be perfect. We can never drink alcohol, and we certainly can't go out partying. Of course not. We have to live our lives. And there is no golden key, and there is no perfect answer for managing your stress better or reducing your stress. In all honesty, it's simple. It's awareness. Just awareness. Self-awareness of who you are, where you are in your life, and what you really want to achieve. I told you it was simple. How many of you actually take time for yourself? How many of you are actually aware of your daily stressors and the fact that you're probably adding most of them to yourself? Self-awareness is so powerful. You can take control of every choice you make if it's made at a conscious level instead of an unconscious level, where many of our choices are made. Unfortunately, the unconscious mind is driven by stories that we have told ourselves over years from our past experiences, hearsay, and society's expectations on us. They're not necessarily true, yet we allow them to drive our actions and behaviors on a daily basis. What about if we actually stopped and assessed who we are and what we really want? What are those core values and beliefs? And are you really acting with integrity towards those every single day? Are you making, the majority of the time, better choices for you? I truly believe that if I had had self-development, self-awareness, and mindset classes in school instead of mathematics, I would have been so much better off. I really do. So I challenge you today to stop. Take a look at who you are and who you really want to be. Assess the stress in your life and realize if you're causing a lot of this yourself. Stress in the world is huge, and we strive every single day to be the best, to do the best, to have and to look the best, yet all of the time putting so much pressure on ourselves, when life in its simplistic form is so much calmer and actually so much better for our mental and physical well-being. You may be sitting there thinking, I'm not stressed. But hopefully, some of the points that I've covered today have just had a little light bulb moment in your mind. And those are the things you can change. You can control it. Your stress is in your control. I challenge you to take control of your stress instead of allowing it to control you. Thank you.